are destroyed forever, and you'll never be back.
Hobo, did you make this trash beat?
Yes, sir. Let's go. Do stuff now.
Now the pass to Bryant.
You have a favorable matchup inside, just keep pounding it in there.
Paul
I worked under PSU is now an offensive assistant for the Karen.
Isabel and Brown working on the outside. Oh shoot!
Whoa, what the hell?
Look out for that homeless guy!
Open the door! Open the door!
There isn't time! Just run!
Get out here and help me!
They say you shouldn't do that! Just run!
Good move upfield. Brown splits special teamers, and now Brown is off to the races. Hurdles, kicks a man, and a flag is thrown.
They're going to get Brown for that hurdle right to the face of Lanning.
On third down. Ew, I don't like any of this.
Winston now. Flush to his right. Going for it all.
Now, this may come as a shock to some people, but Hobo is somewhat afraid of needles. Not like I refuse to get a shot needle, just try to avoid it at all costs. So getting the COVID shot was not very high on my list. And besides, having such an amazing immune system from eating all the things I have to eat through life, you gotta feel like COVID's was really that big of a deal. Now, I live in beautiful Florida, where the women are beautiful, the weather's beautiful, the waves are beautiful, and there's really nothing to worry about other than a 3 o'clock shower that's just gonna come through. I think we all have experienced it. No matter what the weatherman says, you better be prepared for potential of a little rain. Now, back to my original comment about needles and being afraid of them. Over my lifetime, I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but I'm a 31-year-old male. I've gotten approximately 12 different shots at random times. All have been in the arm, nothing real crazy like a rabies shot or anything like that. So just kind of speaking from my own experience there. And the fact is, I feel like needles hurt. Needles hurt a lot. I don't know why they hurt, but I'm also the same type of guy that doesn't like when people pinch me. Like, it seems to bother me a lot more than other people. Don't know if that's related. And honestly, the crazy thing about it, needles hurting is not the reason why I didn't get the shot. I'm also not an anti-vaxxer. I'm not someone that thinks vaccines will kill you. But I will say part of my reasoning for not getting it is circled in that world. I am someone that does think about not doing things just because someone else tells me to. I feel like a lot of times we all feel like we know what's best for our bodies, but with things that are unknown, it's kind of hard to say. And then you also have to wonder, what if? What if I take this and 10 years from now, it's like you can't have kids, or you grow a third arm, or you just die, or your genes are messed up. You just never really know. And things with the COVID shot just seem so forced. With our previous president trying to beat it, trying to get things out, mentioning how much he was forcing people to work as fast and as hard as they ever have. Well, I can't speak for a lot of people, but I know one thing is when I do things as fast as I possibly can, I tend to make mistakes, more mistakes than I would have made otherwise. And I had to question whether something like that could be happening in this scenario. I can also say that I'm a black male that's in his 30s, and it may just be a stigma going around the black community, but sometimes we believe that vaccines are not tested on black people, so it's a little bit more questionable whether things are going to work the way they should for black people. In fact, things seem to be getting rushed so much. Don't really think there was any testing. To me, the test were the people who signed up first, which unfortunately were old people and people in need. Some still died because they already had issues. Some died because it was too late. Some died because they just weren't compatible with it, I guess. The thing that really kind of bothered me over time was seeing a lot of the nurses and the people who were in the front lines trying to get the shot, trying to do what was right for America and things like that, and then watching some of them come down with Bell's palsy, and that was just something I never saw in the actual news. That kind of bothered me because I see a lot of the people saying, well, the news only show you what they want to show you. Not so much that it was happening, but it was happening and didn't really seem like anyone was reporting on it, which made it kind of seem like a lie to me, like something was wrong. So in a way, I think I kind of became an anti-vaxxer in a way, but not in the general political way that I think a lot of people see it as. Now, I did get it. It was a small amount of people that Bell's palsy or those type of side effects happen to. But it's just like if you're watching a commercial and it's rattling off, oh, try this new thing. It's going to help you sleep better. It's going to help you be stronger. It's going to help you run farther. And then it starts rattling off a couple side effects. And it's like, oh, your stomach might be upset. Sometimes you won't be able to sleep. You know what? Sometimes you're just going to go to the restroom on yourself. You know, it's like if they leave out that last one, you know, that's going to make a lot of people all of a sudden say, wait, what was that third one? I'm going to poop on myself? May cause death. You know, it's almost like that. Like you're leaving out certain things, certain side effects that could come from something. And I think that's important for people to understand what they're doing to themselves before they do it. And that's one of the things that bothered me. For anyone still watching the video, I'm actually curious, has anyone else heard on the actual news about people getting Bell's palsy? You can put up one in the chat, you can say yes, you can say I heard a lot of people, I ain't never heard nobody. I'm curious, put a comment below. Now I feel like a lot of people are wondering, how do I feel about masks? Because masks was really the main thing out of this. People weren't so much mad that people were getting sick and things like that. It was almost like that was treated as an act of God. You going into a business and them saying you can't shop here unless you put on a mask is something that drove people crazy. And I can say one good thing I can say out of this is some of those Karen videos. Like, I'm sorry that people had to go through what they're going through sometimes. Some of the workers and the people that just have to just hit this head on and, ma'am, you can't shop here, or ma'am, I can't check you out, or ma'am, I'll bring it to you outside. You know, having millions of workarounds and them people saying it's my right, it's my country, that's not the law, going through all those different things. Those are some of the most amazing videos. Like, it blows your mind watching some of these videos, the way people react to being told no. Americans are so, I don't even know the word, but we're just so like proud. Like, you can't tell me no. Similar to when someone's getting arrested and they look at the cop in the face and they say, I pay your salary. You know, it's something like that. It's just something real prideful to, like, I don't know, look down on somebody that's working, you know, while you're not working. Like, it's just something special about it. Anyway, as it goes, I did wear a mask. I wore a mask pretty much anywhere I went. Sometimes I'd leave the house, realize I don't have a mask, and I'd go back and get it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I got the little cheap mask that, you know, you can get from any store. They put any design on it. I didn't like wearing the blue mask that, like, you get if you go to the hospital or something like that. I felt like that really made you look sick. Like, that definitely made people uncomfortable when you're walking around in that. You know, God forbid you sneeze or something, you know, it's like, oh my gosh. You know, and granted, it's not your job to make everybody feel comfortable, but I feel like as Americans, we should a little bit. If the majority of people are okay with what you're doing, then you're okay. If one person's upset with what you're doing, well, that's a different story. But wearing masks, you know, wasn't a huge deal to me. And I'm even someone that can go on a walk or jog in the mask and not feel like I'm dying. That being said, I did not have a lot of, I think it's N95 masks. Like, those are the actual real masks that prevent COVID-19. And kind of to go back to the anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers, I guess is the other one. masks are a little bit of a scam from my understanding, because most masks don't actually prevent the COVID from getting in, because it's so small that you breathe and basically can just pull it through the pores, and you basically have COVID in your face, all the same. It's if a normal mask, let's say, gives you 20% protection, you know, the ones like the N95s, the ones that most people are giving them, maybe we're giving them 1 or 2% protection, because they're just quite simply the wrong mask. But at the same time, if you got a loved one that's sick or that could get sick or something like that, I mean, is you being a little bit uncomfortable worth you helping them a little bit versus not at all? I would say you got to look at your own life and decide that if you're by yourself and you're not hurting anyone else, I kind of feel like, I guess that's up to you at that point. It's not really fair to people around you that you decide to just do whatever. But I kind of understand at the same time, if XYZ person is upset that you're not there with a mask, as long as they have their mask on, they have the right mask, technically that should be doing the job for them, not you wearing your mask. So I kind of understand it from that side as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, both sides are a little bit responsible, but it's kind of your job to protect you. It's their job to protect them. If they don't want to protect themselves, whatever. As long as they're not in your face, they're not coughing at you, they're not going, why are you wearing a mask, and all that kind of stuff. I think I understand. Now, to circle back around to one of the original issues I brought up is the side effects and things. As far as I know, there are 3 main vaccines that were developed. There's Johnson & Johnson, there's Moderna, and Pfizer. From everyone that I basically talked to, or I should say a lot of them, everyone said, do not try Johnson & Johnson. That's the one that you only get one shot. It sounds good to people like me that don't love needles. One shot does it all. But apparently that's the one that has the most issues. I do find it funny in a way that the other shots have too. It's almost like something was figured out that, hey, one of these doesn't quite get it done, or doesn't get it done at a high enough rate that is deemed safe and okay. Anything that's, I don't know if the numbers were 95% or whatever it was, but I believe Johnson & Johnson had the most kind of backlash, where it wasn't approved by the FDA, people were dying and stuff like that. So I will say I did hear about some of that on the news. I did not hear about cerebral palsy like I was saying earlier, but like I said before, if you have, put that in the comments. I'm just curious to see if anyone did or did not. I'm only in Florida, so I only see Florida news. It could be one of those things where news in other areas did cover it, but they didn't here. And if you know anything about Florida, Florida was wilding out. Our governor was not for masks, not for really anything. Get your kids back in school, get back to work. We got to get this thing going. Every time they'd open up a beach, it was going crazy. It was party central. I was not there. My mask ain't strong enough for that. Let me just tell you. I don't even know how people are dating right now in a world like this. Because it's like, hey, bro, I find it awkward enough if you were to date to say, hey, when's the last time you got tested? You need to do that. A lot of diseases out there, kids. Let me just tell you, a lot of diseases. You don't want to get stuck with none of them. But now you got to double down. When the last time you got tested for COVID? Do you wear a mask? What's your mask look like? I'm sure there's nice ways to kind of throw it out there, but not something I would ever want to experience. Anyway, to circle back around to what I was just saying, you had 3 different vaccines out there, so that adds a whole lot of different trying to understand which one's going to work for me, which one is going to work for me as a black male with something that's barely tested, with people getting sick, with people getting illnesses, with people getting things that, as far as I know, you can't reverse. Once this is in you, it is in you. And then another thing that's kind of come up kind of after the original wave of this is, now there's the D variant. The D variant's even strong against the people that already got it. Like, things are just getting real complicated out there. So really what it came down to me is, when was I ready? Because at the end of the day, it's a decision that you're going to have to make. You're going to have to decide, am I going to do this to protect me and mine in the future, or am I going to keep wearing the mask, or both? Because for people that don't know, you getting the vaccine does not keep you from getting COVID, meaning it doesn't keep you from spreading COVID to people who don't have the vaccine, meaning you can still get COVID, jump on a plane, go see some old family members of yours, and then kill them. That's a pretty deep thing to think about. You still have to wear your mask, or you're supposed to wear your mask. Or if you're by yourself, you roll the dice, you do what you want to do. But that's actually what brought me to my decision. I wanted to go see my grandma in the next couple months, around a few months from now. It's going to be her 100th birthday, something like that. And it's like one of those things, like, you got to be there. You got to go back for that. She lives in Indiana, nowhere near me. And I can honestly say I've been blessed that my entire family in my close vicinity, like aunts, uncles, brothers, moms, dad, everybody is fine. No one has died from COVID. A couple people have gotten COVID, mom, stepbrother, dad, but no one has died from COVID. So what my thought originally was, because I was asked, like, if you're gonna come see grandma, we asked that you get one of them. It really came down to Pfizer or Moderna. My wife had decided, because of, I guess, the genetic makeup, what it does to your DNA and all that stuff, that she wanted to do Pfizer and wanted me to do the same. But my family, all the people that I'm related to, all got the Moderna. So that's mom, that's dad, that's uncles, that's aunts, that's grandma. All of them all got it, and none of them had any serious side effects other than maybe being sick or something like that. So I ended up making that decision to go ahead and go with the Moderna. So we decided, me and my wife, that we would go to Costco as a place to go. We didn't want to go to a doctor's office. We still feel like doctor's offices are just so many diseases and things like that. And it's not. I mean, most cases, they're keeping it clean and stuff like that. But we know those people are getting worked. Like I said earlier, but when you get tired, you're working really hard, it's when mistakes happen. So, didn't want to be a mistake. We ended up going to Costco, a place that had normal working hours, wouldn't be nothing too crazy. And I gotta say, it was pretty easy. For anybody that's like looking for a place to go, they're a little nervous, they don't want to be at a place with too many people. Costco's pharmacy kind of area, it's kind of off by itself. It's not, tons of traffic and things like that. Once you're over there, you go in the room by yourself, when they do the shot, it's not bad. And you're also not waiting a really long time, at least not in my experience. So anyway, you go up to the window, you let them know what you're there for. They have you fill out some basic information as far as your insurance, if you've been in contact with other people that have COVID, all, just basic doctor stuff. Nothing too crazy there. I recommend you bring in your insurance card. Like I said, that is something that they ask. It is free to you, but it does seem like, for me, it was $40. That looks like it was charged to my insurance company, and they will gladly pay that versus you getting sick and them having to try to pay for something else. Let me tell you that. Anyway, so it's very simple. You fill out the paperwork, you give it back to the lady. She has you go down towards the little office room area, wherever they do it, at your particular Costco. Ours is like a little office area. You go over there, they call you in. Me and my wife both went in together. She got the Pfizer first. They let you pick what arm you wanted in. Me personally, I went with my non-dominant arm, left-handed. So I say, put that in the right arm, because I hear about COVID arms, stuff like that. Didn't want to take no chances on crippling myself. And if I had to lose an arm, I'd rather be the arm I don't use for everything. So anyway, wife does hers. I'm a little nervous. I'm sitting there, I'm talking to the person. They're just talking, it's first one's not so bad. Second one's when a lot of people have reactions, if they're going to have reactions, something like that. So she pulls out the needle. It looked like it was maybe an inch inch wide or inch long, not wide, inch long. The vial definitely had something in it. I mean, never really know what it is. And she said, be a man, blah blah blah. I was sweating a little bit, just a little bit, nothing too crazy. And she went ahead and stuck me and pushed it in. And honestly, about 3 seconds later, she pulled it out, put a band-aid on, and said, I'll see you in 4 weeks. One thing to note, she did tell my wife 3 weeks for the Pfizer and 4 weeks for the Moderna. I don't know if that's normal everywhere else. All of my family basically said 3 weeks, but for whatever reason, they told me 4 weeks on mine. And I did question her on that just to double check. But I can say to anyone out there that's afraid of needles, this is probably the least painful shot I've ever gotten. I believe it's less painful because it's just kind of in your bicep kind of area of your arm, kind of on that backside. Maybe that's a tricep, but it wasn't in the vein. A lot of times when you have to give blood, they're sticking stuff into your vein, pulling it out, and doing all that. This isn't that, and that's why I believe it hurts a lot less. A lot less. I can say, after getting the shot, we walked around the store for a little bit. They tell you to hang around for about 15 minutes just to make sure you don't have any immediate, reactions and start flipping out or anything like that. My right arm, where I got the shot, did become a little sore and stiff. Nothing too crazy, but it is, it's not that you're not going to feel anything. I want to stress that as well. It's not that it's pain-free and you feel nothing. You will have a sore arm at least. From everything I've heard, every single version of it, you're at least going to have that. Some people do get a little sick off the first one, but from my understanding, the first one is just a very weakened form of COVID-19 that just tells your body, this is what you're looking for when you see this, and here are the antibodies to beat it. Or, kind of weak version so your body knows what to do. So, did that the next day. So, going to sleep that night was a little bit rough because I sleep on my back, at least for the beginning of the night, and then I eventually will turn left. Well, I'm also sleeping on the left side of my bed, and my wife will sleep on my right. So, as she would try to lay or turn into me, all of that hurts. Every bit of that hurts. So it definitely wouldn't hurt for you to figure out your sleeping arrangements before the night because you don't want to get woken up by that. It's not the best feeling in the world. The following day was The following day was a Sunday, and I chose to go outside and cut the grass. Not saying the arm didn't hurt. It's such a low amount of pain that I can proceed with my normal life, and this is not killing me. Is it a little uncomfortable? Yes. But is it killing me? No. Is it, I need ice cream, I need, a new bandage, anything like that? No. You can power through it. It's definitely not a problem. I would say within 3 to 4 days after I got the shot, basically didn't even feel it. You may feel a little something in your arm. It's like, oh, they're something here hurts or used to hurt, but it's nothing that you're even going to think about within a few days. So then you got to circle around to the second shot. Now, second shot for me, like I said, happened 4 weeks later. My wife happened to get it the week before me, and she did have some reactions. So she did the Pfizer, and basically, we did repeated the thing. Go in, we did the paperwork. Well, only she did this time because, like I said, I had to wait an additional week. We go to the office. She gets the shot. We go outside, by the books. Within minutes, she starts gripping my hand kind of hard and struggling to walk a little bit. According to her, her balance was a little off and her lips began to swell. So I believe in my wife's case, when she got the second shot, the one that a lot of people have reactions to, she had an actual allergic reaction. Nothing serious. She didn't have to go to the hospital. She didn't have to do the injection shot, any of that kind of stuff. But she did end up doing some Benadryl, I believe the following day, as well as some Advil to help with her head. She got a headache. But similar to, the first story, within 3 to 4 days, she pretty much was normal. So currently, at the time I'm recording this, this is day 3 after I got my COVID shot. So I got my COVID shot. Let me make sure I'm counting that right. Got the COVID shot on Saturday. So we had Sunday, Monday, and now it is Tuesday. Yes. So this is day 3 after it. So day 1, the Saturday, went up there, filled out the paperwork by myself, went in the room with the wife, shot up my arm. Walking over to the book area of Costco, because they say just wait around 15 minutes, I began to feel like my right arm was tired. Not like I couldn't lift it or anything, just almost like I'd been working out or something. Like, it's kind of a weird way to explain it, but that's how I felt. I felt like a little bit of, I don't know, something kind of shooting down my arm every now and then. Little, I don't want to say like a little lightning strike, but you just, just something real quick. Nothing too crazy. Never felt like my balance was off or any of that kind of stuff that my wife was saying. My lips didn't swell, anything like that. Once again, I got the Moderna and she got the Pfizer. So don't know if that has anything to do with it. We went home afterwards. Really, no real issues that night. My arm did not swell up. Like the first time, my arm was a little stiff when I got the first shot. But the second time did not. Still hurt from the shot itself, that something had stabbed in my arm, things like that. But nothing too crazy. Day 2, Sunday, though. Sunday was a little bit of a more challenging day. I actually had a full-blown cold. I probably shouldn't say full-blown cold, but I had a strong headache throughout most of the day. Really didn't flare up until I stood up. If I stood up, looked at the ground, those kind of things. But as long as I was just chilling in bed or on the couch or something like that, it generally was okay. I had a loss of appetite. Didn't really want to eat too much. Didn't mind, drinking some orange juice or water or whatever like that. Really, anything like that was just going to be pretty simple for me. But I really didn't want to get up and move around too much. So I guess you could say I was kind of tired. Just kind of watched TV. Didn't really try to get up. Certainly did not get up and try to cut grass like I did after the first shot. That being said, I would recommend to anyone at the time you're getting the second shot, obviously you should request it before, but request a little time off. At least a day. For some people too, if you get sick and you just can't function, at least do 2 days off. Because I don't think anyone just powers through the second shot. I've heard that some people do, but you might as well take a day off. I mean, if you're listening to this, you probably earned it anyway. You got free time, you got PTO, take a day off. If you're letting your people know ahead of time, it's up to them to figure it out. So anyway, day 2, I basically sat around, watched, was going to watch some football, but instead I started watching some old series. I can't think what it was, so I was behind on. And wife helped get me some food and stuff, because of course at this point she was fine, and that's basically what we did. She gave me some Tylenol later in the day to kind of help with the headaches, and basically didn't look back. Went to sleep, all good. Day 3, which is today, I went back to work, so I only took one actual day off, which was the Monday, and for me, I'm basically normal. I have a little bit of congestion in my nose, but everything else is pretty normal. There's nothing really going on with me that's out of the norm, and I think I'm fine. We'll see, within 2-3 days if everything's out of my system, but for me, 1 day off is enough. So I think for a lot of people, that should be good. So to close, what I would say about the COVID shot and I never actually got COVID. That's something that's I didn't really talk about, but throughout this entire time, I never really got COVID. I did get really sick the January before everything blew up, and I don't know if I had something special or a very early version of COVID, but I never went to the doctor, so let's just assume I never got COVID. But that being said, when it comes down to getting the shot, the mask and all that stuff. I think it really comes down to you and how you feel about life. For me, the thing that really did it was me wanting to go see my grandma. Nothing was really going to prevent me. I don't have one of those families that would have been like, you can't come unless. But some people do. Some people have that. Some families need that. You have older people in your family that can't, or like I said, my grandma, she's almost 100 years old. She really doesn't need me bringing something like that to her. So really it's going to come down to everyone looking at their own personal situation and deciding what they want to do. For some people, it makes sense. For some, it doesn't. At the end of the day, you got to realize that the choice is yours, Captain Planet. But it's one of those things that you have to decide. You have to decide what's right for you and take the consequences. 'Cause tomorrow, if they pop up and say you can't have kids because you took the Moderna, I mean, you can be mad and all that stuff, but it's a decision you made, and you basically got to stick to it, and you got to go with it. Because as far as I know, you can't take it out of your system. It's part of you now. It's meant to be there forever until they make version EDF that's stronger than all of them. It combines the powers, all that good stuff. So anyway, in closing, for me, and I'm saying this to you guys, especially if you meet what I'm saying, I'm a black male. I'm 31. I got the Moderna, and I've had no serious side effects. Body's the same. I still have all my strength. I'm not growing anything that I can tell. Voice is the same. Brain seems to be the same. No serious consequences. And I have at least 6 people that are also black that I know all have taken the Moderna and haven't had any issues. And they got theirs months ago. So they're basically, hate to say it, but my family essentially became the test people for me. Those are my examples. Those are the people that I look to decide which one I was going to get. So from one person to another, if the situation fits, I would say the needle's not that bad. It could be a lot worse. If you like me, you've experienced worse, and you will experience worse. So you might as well go ahead and get the shot. Moderna's the one I went with. I've had even less side effects than my wife, who got the Pfizer, because I didn't have the allergy reactions, any of that kind of stuff. And I would also say you still need to wear your mask. You don't always have to walk around with the N95s and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, something's better than nothing. At the end of the day, it's like, I hate to say it's like wearing a condom, but I mean, your pull-out game could be on point, but sometimes it's better to have something better than nothing. I mean, I think somebody out there knows what I'm saying. Somebody looking at their kid right now thinking about what I'm saying. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in for the first Hobo Talks on COVID-19 and my personal experiences. Feel free to leave any comments below. If I said something crazy, it sounds like, well, that's not right, you shouldn't say that to people, or whatever. Feel free to put it in the bottom. I'm pretty small, YouTube and all that kind of stuff, so I'll basically read anything you guys put on there. I honestly will. I'll probably respond to all of them. I got nothing better to do. Thank you. Bye. Welcome to the first episode